Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm excited for today's episode of People Who Inspire. I have a very special guest who is going to share a very important topic with us. And we're also going to learn a bit about my guest today. As I do every weekend, I try to get you inspiring guests whose lives can be a source of inspiration and motivation for everything that you do. So, Dr. G, as she's popularly called on online and on social media platforms, is my guest today. Dr. Grace Karikari is my guest. And hello, Doc. How are you doing?
Hey, Prince. I'm good. So good to be here.
Yes. I'm really excited. How's your weekend going?
So far, so good. I mean, it's summer. Who can complain? Summer, summer makes us happy, makes us summery. So, yeah, so far, so good.
Yes. I mean, I think that most of us who come from Africa, like summer is more or less, let's say, the default mode. I mean, we are all excited, and even those who are not from tropical regions,
Yeah,
have the same feeling. So yeah, I can relate.
yeah.
And how's work, family, and everything so far?
Yeah, God is keeping us so far. God is
Awesome.
keeping us. We are all good. Yes.
Awesome. And for those of you watching, if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Facebook, or you're watching on LinkedIn, we are going to discuss a very important topic today. And I've always been thinking about, the topic on mindset
Mm,
and how basically our mindset frames the worldview, how we view the world, how
mhm.
we respond to, tragedy, and how we get out of trouble as well. So
Yeah.
today, I mean, before we get into the topic, I always try to get to know a bit more about my guest and, what your journey has been. So can you tell us a bit about who Dr. G is, maybe using your various educational milestones as a reference point? Where did you grow up? Where did you school? And bringing you this far so far in life.
So, do you want the CV version or the conversation version?
The
Let me
conversation
pull my
version, I like
CV
that.
out and start reading for you.
As for the CV, we'll not be able to finish today.
I know. Oh, just kidding. But hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Grace Kakari. I go by Dr. G, and I call myself a success and wellness advocate. I'm currently enrolled in a new program, which will be a success and wellness coach. But until then, I am still an advocate. And I've been doing this for over a decade now. And that is related to my professional work, which is a professor in. If I say professor, it may be tricky for those, professor is used in different ways, but I'm originally from Ghana. And if you say a professor, it means you're a teacher or an instructor in a program. But I guess it's safe to say a faculty member. I'm a teaching assistant professor in a university here, University of North Dakota, and I teach public health related courses. So just briefly, I teach grant writing and management, leadership and interprofessional practice. I teach budgeting and finance. You see, I should be rich by now, right? I'm on the
Wow.
don't but anyway, that is what I do professionally. And in terms of education, I started from Ghana, KNUST, and I did economics in Ghana because I still wanted money. And in Ghana back then, if you wanted money, if you want to be rich, you think the best way is to work in a bank, right? So my plan was to work in a bank and be rich because that's where the money is. But that didn't work out because I got internship there, working there for a little bit. I realized that is not what I wanted to do. I got the opportunity to assist some researchers in rural Ghana, did a little bit of data collection for them. Then I thought, oh Lord, this is what I want to do. I want to come back here. I want to talk about public health. I want to educate people, basic health things. So health education has been my thing. I switched from economics to public health, did masters in the United States, Indiana University. That's the same place I got my PhD, which is also in health behavior. And then, so that will be it. And then I got a certificate, graduate certificate in gerontology, because I was looking at aging, social aspects of aging, what we can do to help our older
Wow.
people live longer. So that is also one thing I do for research. So that will be it for now. I'm sure questions will come up as we move on. So let me just leave it there.
Definitely, definitely. And so I mean, when I talk to people, and myself included, there's this, let's say, trepidation towards a PhD. People naturally have a fear for a PhD. So, like, my question would be, at what point
Mhm.
did you realize that, look, I needed to do a PhD? I mean, you could have ended with a master's, but why the PhD, and what was, let's say, the motivation for the PhD?
Okay, great question. So I didn't grow up wanting to get a PhD. Actually, I never had that dream. I want to be a doctor dream. No, I didn't. I thought, yes, for undergraduate degree, it wasn't an option. Everybody in my house had to get it. So that one, you have to. Then I was thinking maybe I'll get a master's and then that would be okay. But I got married to a wonderful man who has a PhD. We moved to the United States. And when I finished my master's, I was considering working, like finding a job. But then I had some people talking to me about PhD and how I may qualify for one of our programs and I should talk to our director. It was more through mentoring and encouragement. I was like, yeah, this thing doesn't sound bad. Let's look into it. So then I went to see and I had to write a new GRE because my GRE wasn't good and all that. But it worked out great because the job I really wanted to go for later collapsed, if I should say,
Oh,
management.
wow.
And I would have been in trouble then because I was an international student. So if the job is not there, then you cannot be here. You have to go back home. But getting into the doctoral program, I had the opportunity to still be with my family and then get the education I needed. And it actually opened more doors for me. Though I didn't originally plan it, it turned out to be great.
Wow. I mean, this is more or less testament to the fact that if you have a supportive spouse, let me
Mhm.
put it that way, then kind of it also helps to unearth certain things that you did not know you had in you, like the
Yeah.
potential, which we are going to talk about later today. I'm really excited that, people like you kind of will pave the way for let's say future PhD aspirants like myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's
Yeah,
really
waiting
awesome.
for you.
Now we'll see. So now, I mean, when you talk about studying economics, because at the time there was job opportunities, or prospective job opportunities, and I think about this also in relation to the youth of today, right? People are studying courses for many reasons. Studying a program, especially in Africa, Ghana to be specific, is economic driven, right? So, like, my question, like a follow up question would be this: like, is it really the right way, right, to really select a program purely based on the economic benefits, or do you think something else is needed? Like, maybe I'm just passionate about something and I just do it, or it should be purely economic? I mean, just out of the blue, but do you have any thoughts on this?
Do you want the practical version or the theory?
So I want both, because I think you have both aspects of your experience. Yeah.
Okay. Because the theory will be, oh, sure, go for your passion. Passion is the way to go. But practically, people find themselves in places where there are limited opportunities. Okay. You can decide to pursue your passion and you may not be able to utilize it to get income to support yourself and your family. So, this is what I would say: go for what is available to you, but don't let go of the passion. Work it out along the way. So in Ghana at that time, yes, the banking field was the best at that time, and I think they are still it's been a stable career in Ghana. But while there, and then I think after that, I was taking online courses in public health. So by the time I was ready to apply for the masters, I had over 15 free online courses in public health courses, right? And then these are the ones I added to my undergraduate degree because in economics, we were not taking public health classes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I wanted to switch, I couldn't just switch. But I think these days they charge, but there was this website called MOOC, Massive Open Online Courses. And most of the courses were
Okay.
free at that time. Certificates were free. So I would do the courses, I'll pass, I'll download the certificates. So I had many in basic health related courses. And I believe that that was what really helped me when I was moving on. So just go for whatever is available to you. I know you have to eat, you don't have to starve yourself. Okay. Go for it, but don't let go of the goal. Learn along the way. Maybe intern along the way. Maybe be doing something little on the side. And hopefully it can end up being the major thing in the future. So that's what I was saying.
I think that's a very important principle here. And for those of you watching, I think this is crucial and it applies to every aspect of life. Always use what is available to you, but don't let go or don't lose focus of the passion, the fundamental reason why you are doing what you're doing. I think this is poignant, and we can really apply this not just in pursuit of academic, not just in academic pursuits, but also even in our professional work. And when I was looking at your profile, one thing that struck me was that you seem to be someone who is very adaptable. You are very like you said, you studied economics and then you kind of picked up certificates in public health, which, like you said, you didn't study. And then later I also found out that you are an author and all that. Can you speak to like what really is the secret sauce here? How are you able to easily adapt and kind of pick up something, learn it? Is it like you're a natural shark, as we say in Ghana, or like there's a principle you're using that we don't know?
I'm sure my people are taking their head like, nope, she's not that smart. Yes, and I'm not in terms of academic. I was never first, second, or leading any class. I was actually always at the lower, average. But I do go for opportunities. I think that's the unique thing about me. I go for opportunities. Okay. I will not, if I can, that is what I'll do. Like I told you about the PhD, it wasn't my original plan. But is that what is available to me? Yes, I'll go for it. For the books, I started writing the books because I couldn't find books for my children. At that time, I had one child. And I wanted my son to learn about my local language. We didn't start with him because, okay, let me just tell you a little bit about that story. So, first time parents, we've had our baby abroad, America, we're excited. And then we went to the hospital for his checkup, and the pediatrician asked, what language do we speak at home? And we're like, oh, multiple. She was like, no, if you do that, his speech is going to delay and stuff like that, which is not wrong, right? That is true. But what she didn't tell us was it may delay, but once they pick it up, they can pick up all the languages. So first parents, hey, we wanted our child to speak English and not
to speak English, yeah.
we want the slanging part in there. So we stopped speaking Tree at home. We stopped speaking Tree with him. Tree is the local language we speak. My husband and I are both from the same culture, so we speak the same thing. And then we start the daycare around 2 years old. And because we lived on campus, like international community, we meet friends from China, from Spain, and the other one was Korean family. And they could speak their languages with their children. And when the children are speaking with us, they switch to English.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what a mess. What have we done? At that time. So we started, we have to do something about it. And then we were trying to find fun, creative, colorful books, and we're not getting those. So the kids loved the English American books because they had options. They can get the alphabet, they can get the pictures looking bright. I made people send me books from Ghana, and they were mostly black and white. And then the back poorly printed. I should have brought some with me right now, but I don't. I still have most of them upstairs. So then we decided to take the opportunity and create some. So that was where the books came from.
Wow. So again, you identify the gap or like problem which you faced personally, and then you took the opportunity to create something out of it. Can you, let's say, tell us a bit about what makes these books unique? Because you said to me sometime that it's not just Ghanaian languages, but you have a vision for African languages. So, yes, can you tell us a bit about the books, and are they available like currently? And yeah.
The books are available on Amazon. It's currently print on demand basis only. So when you order, Amazon will print and send it to you. So currently,
Okay.
I'm not directly involved in that process. But I realized there wasn't only a problem of Ghana, but many African countries, they don't have options abroad. And many African parents are not speaking their local languages with their kids. So we have to do something. We have to promote the culture. We have to promote the various languages. And there are people abroad, foreigners, who would also love to have our materials. I mean, we pay for our children to learn Spanish. My parents paid for me to learn French. I went to
Oh,
Alliance,
wow.
right? But then I am throwing away my own language in order to learn somebody's. So I'm also sure some French speaking people would love to learn about maybe Eve, Fanti, and it would be nice if the books are accessible. They can just buy for their kids. So, just the primary aim of promoting the African languages. I'm planning on expanding broader. Yeah.
I think this is crucial. So I mean, for those of you watching, you can see on the screen, Kenkan is the I think it's the brand, right? So across all the books, that's the brand. Okay, and then there are various aspects. So like Dr. G mentioned, the language really is crucial, especially our local language. And I think some years ago I was doing a research on acculturation of the youth, like how the youth gets, let's say, pick up different cultures and how they kind of acclimatize and adapt themselves to the culture that is prevailing at any moment in time. And one of the key ways to kind of indoctrinate or to kind of to get people to buy into your culture is through language. So you realize that for most of the European countries that are non-English speaking, when you get there, the first thing they ask you to do is to learn the language. And there are even some instances where you cannot get certain types of visas until you have language proficiency. So it's a crucial component of how we can extend our culture as Africans and how we can also kind of introduce the younger generation, to the languages. So I'm in full support of this vision. Yeah. So I thought about the topic for today in terms of mindset. During the pandemic, there has been, let's say, a lot of things that had to change. So there's now remote working. Most offices, physical offices, are empty and so forth. So definitely we did not see this coming. No one thought 5 years ago that it would be COVID-19 and so forth. So it's understandable if people are struggling to adapt. But my next, let's say, set of questions is in relation to the predictable changes, right? So for example, you know that if you finish high school, there's definitely the next step. If you want to pursue, academia, you probably would want to do some college, university, whatever. So those are more or less predictable, changes or facets of life. And I've realized that for us to go through both the unpredictable and predictable, we need a certain kind of mindset that would help us thrive. And from your point of view, right? So my first thing is that what really is mindset? I hear mind and I hear set. So what is a mindset? And from your point of view, what would make someone resilient in the face of both predictable and unpredictable changes?
I think for mindset, I think the easiest way to explain that would be a set of beliefs, right? That makes a person. So your mindset is the set of beliefs that could have come from childhood or you had picked along the way. A friend recently explained it in a different way, and I think he said he heard it from Pastor Otabel from Ghana, and he said that mindset is like a cement, okay, like mixing cement, and then when it hardens, like it's set. So it's the things that are in your mind that are settled in your mind. So now that's what you live by. So it's not just an everyday value or attitude you pick up, but in terms of what makes us pursue changes. Was that your question? What was the second?
Yes, yes. So the second part is, how do we navigate through both predictable and unpredictable changes? Is there any principle that you personally apply to thrive?
Well, if we go personal, then that makes the question different. Personally,
Okay.
I am flexible. Okay, my personal mindset, foundational belief is that we are human. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Make the best of today and then do better tomorrow. So to prepare, you use what you have available to you today. Okay. And then if it doesn't work that way tomorrow, fine. But if it works that way tomorrow, it's even better because you've already prepared today. So in terms of preparing for already predictable situations, thankfully you know what is ahead. Do something about it today. And I go with that principle that says do tomorrow 1% better than you did today. So today, whatever you are doing, make sure tomorrow is just 1% better. And then the things we can't predict. We can't do anything anyway. And if we decide to worry about it, it takes us nowhere anyway. So you just make use of what you have today. Be flexible, knowing that things can change. And if they change, that's okay. That is life. But if they don't and they go your way, you've planned, you've prepared, and it will be in your favor. I can use a practical example for the COVID. Many of us didn't know was coming. But many people also made use of the opportunity. So many people got into online businesses and did wonderful. I had friends who were already doing some designing and sewing at the side. When COVID happened, they all switched into mask making and they did so well. So that you can say that they had a foundation going. They were doing something. And then they were able to easily switch to that direction. People picked from the square, like, oh, people are consuming so much online material, and they started YouTube channels or stuff like that, and then they were gone.
Yes.
So it's all about the mindset, all about flexibility. I would say that flexibility, adaptability, being ready to change. If it doesn't go that way, that is not the end of the world. But if it goes that way, you are prepared.
I think this is so true. I mean, like myself, I also decided to kind of pivot during this pandemic to, focus a lot more on online series and so forth. And when I think about mindsets, I also think about the kind of, let's say, content we consume also influences how we perceive the world. So, like, do you have any tips for us on, let's say, the kind of content we should consume? Because like you rightly mentioned, the mind is set. It means that it's kind of concretized in a form, and it's hard to change at that point. But before it sets, it's there's a process. You are consuming things, you are listening to different people and stuff like that. Like, what do we do? Someone watching this is, okay, look, so what do I do by way of content, consuming content? What kind of content should people consume to help with their mindset?
I would throw that question back to the person and say, where do you want to go? What do you have ahead of you? Because if I am going to, let's say, Dubai, what I need and how I need to prepare to get to Dubai may be different from you going to the United Kingdom or somebody going to Africa. It's not the same. We are not on the same journey. We all have our bags packed. We all look dressed up, but we are probably not heading towards the same place. So where are you going? What do you have ahead of you? Have you even thought about that? Do you have that planned? That will be the first thing. Once you know that you are going to Dubai, then you know where to get your ticket. Then you know the kinds of things you have to learn to get to Dubai. You are not going to learn French to prepare for your trip to Dubai. and you're not going to learn a can to prepare for your trip to the United Kingdom. So what we all need will be different. So let the cement example we are using. Okay, if I'm looking for a pot, once the cement is still soft, I can mold it into the perfect pot I want.
True.
Somebody is probably looking for a swimming pool and the pot will not work. So once it's still soft, you mold it into a swimming pool and then your goal will be met. So what is your goal for life? It's not everybody who wants to be a millionaire. Don't get it wrong. Some people just want to get highest in education, highest in their field, have
Yes.
children, and they are good. Some people don't mind being in debt. So far as they have life, they are cool. We are not the same. So what do you want? What is your goal? And that is what you have to consume, the materials that will lead you there. Getting into the PhD program, you should ask me who were the people who encouraged me. These were people who had PhD and others who were already in PhD programs. I was surrounded by PhD people. So now what's
Okay.
a big deal for me? Because I've seen people do it. Godfred was there, Valerie was there, AJ was there, Deborah was there. And these are all Ghanaian in my school.
Wow. Wow.
We were all getting PhDs in different fields. So now it's like, oh, I can do it. But imagine if I didn't have those people to look up to, then it was going to be like a block in my head. It's like, hey, can I really do it? So now that obstacle was gone because I was surrounded by the people, and it was now meant to me to just make the decision and then take on the challenge. So if
Wow.
you're heading to Dubai, are you surrounded by people who are also going to Dubai? Or you are surrounded by people who are heading to America? It's not the same trip. It's not the same way.
I think this is very I never thought about it that way, so you kind of put it very, very simply, but very significant as well, that your goal, in other words, where you want to get to, basically will determine the kind of company you keep that will motivate you towards the destination. Wow. I love that. I love that. So again, for those of you watching, this is one of the, in my view, one of the most important principles, that the destination definitely determines the company. And this is something I just learned right now, like 2 seconds ago, when I was just thinking through. Your destination will determine your company, and the kind of company that you keep around you would also influence you, even in terms of the speed, right? How fast you're able to get to the destination, and so forth. So I think this is a strong point. Thank you for that. And if I think about even growing up in Ghana, and this is just to buttress the point, when we were back in senior high school, you realize that there were people with different kinds of company, right? So there were people who would maybe join the science club, for example, because they were passionate about science. People joined the debaters club because they wanted to get into politics in future, or they were good, with their oratory skills and so forth. So this is I never thought about it that way. I never thought about this. It's got me thinking. That's that's very interesting. And thinking about a potential, right? So we look at the other aspects of the conversation. I know that potential is basically, let's say, latent in nature, right? It's dormant in nature until we activate potential in order to get things done. Now we are looking at, let's say, expanding your potential, and I think a perfect example of someone who has expanded their potential. You studied economics, you kind of put yourself to the task to learn by yourself public health, and then got into a master's program outside the country, which is outside your comfort zone, and then you got into a PhD. So, and then you decided to write books in languages for kids. I mean, let's let's look at this. How do I, like, for me, like, I'm watching this video, how do I first of all even identify my potential, right? Like, I think that's, for me, is the first step. Like, how do I know what I have in order to even explore it and expand it? Is there anything that helped you, or that can help anyone?
Well, I think
Identify their potential.
Yeah, sorry. I think there was a break in the internet, so sorry about that. Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
think you can't sit around and know. There isn't any way of knowing by sitting there and say, I want to know, I want to know. It would be nice if God will send an angel and say, oh, bless you, my son Prince. Here is my list of all your potentials, A, B, C, D. Go and get them done. That would be amazing. But we don't get it that way. We have to do
Yeah.
something. So it's mostly, I think, for me, potentials usually comes from or I identify through the things that I'm doing. Okay.
Okay.
So I started this YouTube channel like a few months ago, Thriving Generation with Dr. G. And at that time, I was like, where I came from, I didn't know any of these resources, sorry, success, how many people don't know this either? I need to tell
Yeah.
them, but I was shy. I really wasn't a social media person. I'm one of those friends that you never get a picture of me. So if you look at my social media account, everything is within the last 1 year because I started in October 2021 and I said, you know what, I won't live by fear anymore. When I die, I want to get to heaven and God will look at me and smile that I did what He called me to do, which I didn't even know what
Exactly.
I was. But I felt like since that desire was on my heart, then I've been given the gift of life and I don't have any verbal issues, I should probably start doing it before God takes it away. So I started a YouTube channel. I opened LinkedIn account also about 7 months ago. I wasn't on LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, my
Wow.
friend
But you're
Lauren.
so like, you're like, I see you on my feed every time. So I thought you've always been there.
Oh no, I
Ah.
interviewed Lawrence for the Thriving Generation channel and was like, "Are you on LinkedIn?" I was like, "No, I'm not looking for a job." It's like, get on there. Get on there. And I came here and I'm like, people are already doing what I'm doing. It's like you are doing the same thing that I'm doing on the YouTube channel, but I came and now I'm surrounded by like-minded people. But just going back to the question, um, there isn't a shortcut for knowing your potential. You can't sit down and know. Just do the things you want to
Mm.
do. And again, when I started a YouTube channel, I was new to social media. I only had a Facebook account because, of course, Facebook, Ghana, we all had Facebook. But I
Yes.
just opened a Twitter account. I just opened, what's the other one called? Instagram. And I'm still
Oh,
figuring
Instagram. Yes.
Instagram out. I still don't know how to do it. And then I'm loving LinkedIn already. And all these things is because I started doing something. And I talked to you and you were telling me about lightning and voice and my I'm like, I just open my laptop, put behind it and talk. That's all I do, even for my channel. But now I'm getting more knowledge and I'm expanding my potential. I started doing the editing myself because I
Wow.
just watch YouTube video and then basic editing. So I think the
Wow.
potential will come through doing something, practice something, experiment. You get to learn that no, I'm not good at this. I'm good at this. In fact, I hate this one. I don't want to do this again. But I want to do more of this. And you're expanding. That is what I can say.
I love this because it's potential. The topic of potential is somewhat of a paradox because the raw definition of potential is like something that is dormant, but in order to identify that dormant thing you need to be active. So it's really an interesting paradox. So the next principle that I've just learned is that yes, everyone has a potential, and like Dr. G said, in order to identify your potential you need to be active. You need to actively search and get yourself busy. Sometimes it might come from something unexpected, like
Yeah.
Dr. G said. So you need to really, you can't just sit down and then just, okay, so what's my potential? Okay, number one. Okay, there's number two. No, you need to try things out. If you try writing about, okay, this is not something, then you try. Okay, so I think the line was breaking a bit. So I was watching a video about either, I think John Travolta or someone like that, who like is an actor, but he's also like a licensed pilot sort of thing. So you realize that, people, especially outside in Africa, explore various aspects of their potential and stuff. But you made mention about the practical response to such questions within the context of, Africa or Ghana, to be specific, where I realized that most of the activities growing up for me were limited. I mean, you can't do snowboarding, for example, because we don't have snow. And then some of the activities are expensive. Like if you're interested in race car driving, there's nothing like that, right? So already, do you feel, and it is just, just to get your point of view, do you feel that growing up in Ghana by default limits the set of activities that you can get yourself involved in order to discover your potential?
Well, I'll say yes and no. Okay. So yes, there are
Okay.
some activities that you don't have access to. Maybe I was going to say golfing, but I know there is golfing. Maybe higher class people will have access to that. But my challenge to people will be, what do you have around you? I think we are saying that we are limited because we are looking beyond Ghana and we are comparing ourselves to the advanced countries. Okay, so you are looking at America and all the things they have available to them, all the resources they have available to them. And now you are saying that you don't have those, so you are limited. Okay, what do you have? What can you do with what you have? I think if we want to pay attention to our culture and Africa as a continent, we could create several things that are unique to the resources we have. But no, we don't do that. We most of the time look outside, looking at what somebody has created, and we want to bring that home. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes people from outside come back to us and use the resources we have to create something and then charge us for that or take credit for that. I've seen videos of random not maybe random shouldn't be the kids, but kids from shouldn't be the term, sorry. Kids from different rural places in Africa creating things from recycled materials available to them, maybe creating their own car. I saw one recently, one
Yeah.
kid creating an amazing house with just random materials. Like I think if
Wow.
we pay attention to what we have, we can be quite innovative and build a house with the materials we have. We may not have to import. Maybe we will still import some things, but not everything. Can we create? This is, I think, a leadership thing and not maybe a problem of the individual living in the country. But we are being educated with books from abroad, European books, but we don't live in Europe. My husband was telling me a story of their social work class. They were learning about Medicaid and Medicare, and they live in Ghana.
Oh no,
Have a
no way.
yeah. So I think
Wow.
if we try to compare with other nations, then yes, we are limited. We don't have this, we don't have that. But I think we can all agree that places like China, looking within them, mobilizing their resources, they are doing amazing. And they are even speaking their own language.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a leadership thing and just about appreciating what we have and finding
What
ways
we
to
have.
maximize them. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I do agree. I think there's the also kind of the pressure from social media where we have the need for instant gratification. So basically we kind of are in a generation where everything we want to do, we want it instantaneously. So
Yeah.
if it's not happening immediately, then we get disgruntled and we kind of compare ourselves, like you said, with other people. I mean, you think about it carefully in terms of even our food, our cuisine, why haven't we more or less kind of, why haven't we promoted the kind of indigenous cuisines that we have? the watches, like something like jollof with the jollof war. Why haven't we capitalized on the jollof war between Nigeria, for example, and other, African countries to kind of brand jollof to the point where, like, how we now in Ghana, everyone wants to eat pizza. But pizza, it's basically Italian, food, right? So why haven't we gotten that? So I think you're completely right, because like what we have, we tend to forget what we have basically, and we crave for, something elsewhere. So we can still be in Ghana and still explore the activities that we have. I think a few weeks ago, I was doing a lot of thinking, and then it occurred to me that, so I think I saw an article about someone who was like the world's best something, forgotten exactly what it was. But then I was thinking, I was like, okay, did this person, I think, is that the world's strongest man, something like that, right? And I was saying that, okay, like, did they come to Ghana? Did they go to Choco to really get, do you get it? Like,
they will beat them out.
So, exactly. Like, I was really thinking about it. I was like, so, people set their own standards and then claim they are the world best or something. Why can't we as Africans set our own standard? Why can't we also do the world's strongest man, but our contestants are from Nima, Choco, like, you get it? Get these guys who they are carrying, some people are carrying like 5 bags of cement on one shoulder and carrying 2 bags of rice on the other shoulder, right? They do this on a daily basis. They don't even go to the gym, but they have the 6 packs already, but they don't go to the gym. So the world's strongest man is probably somewhere in Choco or somewhere like that in Ghana. But, but we have not created a platform to discover them. So that brings to my next question about discovering potential, people with potential. So I'm going beyond the individual self. How do I discover, like, my child, for example, right? How do I discover the potential of my child or my spouse? Sometimes you want to encourage your spouse because you've seen that they have a potential to do something, right? Like, how do you go about it? Do you have any experience in that, or do you have any, let's say, tips on how you can identify, and harness the potential of people around you, your children, your spouse, your siblings, and so forth?
Hold that question, and when I get
sure.
Make sure you remind me.
Okay.
But I wanted to mention that people are trying. We don't want to just create the impression that nobody's doing anything in Africa or in Ghana. I know individuals who are trying to promote things in Ghana. The support is not as much as you will get abroad. Okay, like there are so many scholarships abroad for beginning entrepreneurs, people who are women in science. There are support here and there, which we are saying that we don't see a lot in many African countries, not everywhere anyway. But people who are trying, and we recognize that, and we appreciate that, and we would love more support. So then it goes on to your question: how do you support people? I think our children, it depends on the age, but having some room for flexibility for your children to explore will be great. Okay. You talked about race car. We don't have race car in Ghana, but maybe they can do something with timber. And we won't call it the race car, but timber racing, something.
Oh, yeah.
And it will end up being our thing. And then later, people may even adapt it. And then we have several games here, but back home, we used to play our own version of hockey. I forget what it's called, but we try to hit a hole. But we don't see that as a game, something we could capitalize on. But it's similar to hockey, and I forget the local name for it. But anyway, maybe somebody watching may know and type in the comments for us. Those ones are there. And then in terms of children, I said that let them explore. Sometimes we are used to a certain mainstream career and stuff, and you don't want to waste money. But if you have room for flexibility, can you let your child explore a little bit if they want to do something else? Our child is into robotics, and me, where I came from, we don't do anything robotics. But being here, there are resources. So his father would buy the kit from Amazon for him, then he has to put it together himself. So he started building his own cars and his own robots because the resources are here. But whatever your child wants to do back home, I have a friend who wanted to sew, like those fashion designers. And at that time, I think they wanted her to go to school and become like something in the professional world, like something like I am at this, like the names, you know. But I guess after,
Yes, the big names.
yeah, I think after undergrad, she's had the room to explore, and now she's creating beautiful tiaras and for weddings and big events in Ghana. So I guess room for flexibility, room for support, and when you know somebody's doing something, support. We start YouTube channel, subscribe and like. You don't like our videos, you don't subscribe. How do we grow? We don't grow,
I
you
second.
know.
I second.
And then you see that friends are selling stuff and you need those. It would be nice if you buy from them than buying and paying shipping internationally. Do support your local stores. Do support friends you know are doing things like, you know, somebody's making Tom Brown. It's okay to buy from that person. You are going to buy a new dress. You know, it's not perfect, but it's very close to what you're going to get. It's okay to support each other. I think that will help us grow. That will help us thrive. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that back in KNUST, when I think either when I was in my national service, there were some students who were actually producing liquid soap. Like they were producing liquid soap and selling them, and they go to from room to room, and then also the businesses around KD. These students will go there and market these products. They were producing these products themselves. I was really surprised. I was so impressed. So yeah, I fully agree that we need to support our own creators. We need to support our own businesses. It is one way of ensuring that we support their potential, like we rightly said, and we support the vision that they have. And I think that there was a video I was watching. Steve Ballmer was being interviewed, the former CEO of Microsoft, and at the time, I think it was either 2007 or something. At the time, Steve Jobs was launching the iPhone. And you know, the funny thing, the comment from Steve Ballmer was like, no one is going to buy the iPhone because it didn't have, a physical keypad. You know, back then, the QWERTY keypad was the thing, BlackBerry, the Nokias. Yeah. And then he said the iPhone is going to be a failure. It doesn't even have, keypad and everything. And it went on to become the best product ever in the world of business ever. And I'm saying this because sometimes when the beginning is small, people will despise you. So for those of you watching, you start something and it's a small beginning. You get naysayers, people who you probably even look up to as mentors. Sometimes they may discourage you. But as Dr. G is saying, like, keep at it. And for those of us who can support, please, let's support. Like she mentioned, go to her YouTube channel, just give a subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything at all to do that. So please do so. You've seen the books that she has written as well. I mean, just go to Amazon, just buy a couple of them. And if you want to send through a comment or a question, this is the right time. We have just a few minutes left. So if you have any questions, comments, words of encouragement, or if you have any doubts regarding anything relating to this topic that we are talking about today, please feel free to send them through, and then Dr. G would definitely address them. I have a few comments before I take your last remarks. I have a few comments that are coming through that I would like us to look at. Just a couple of them. I think I like to acknowledge people who are watching. So we have Vivian. So Vivian is connecting from LinkedIn, and she says, hi, joining from Accra, Ghana. So shout outs to you, Vivian. We also have Bright Bainful, Doc. So yeah, this, also a doctor, Dr. Bright Bainful has also joined. He's a surgeon, and he says, interesting. Thanks for this. I've been looking for learning aids to teach my case tree So this is extremely helpful. So
Wonderful.
okay, so yeah, Dr. Brightsbinfo, yes, please go to Amazon and then just yeah, find the Kinkan book series. So for 3, it's easy, it's available. Place your order and it will be delivered to you wherever. I think he's also currently in the US, so it's even
Okay,
easier
that's easier.
for him to
And
get.
then
Yes,
my website too, probably it's easier to
yes,
thinkandbooks.com because everything is there. It's consolidated
okay,
there so that you can just
okay,
see all the products we have. And we have many more coming. Yeah.
okay. Okay, so yes, that's awesome. Also, we have Roland Ofori also say, proud of you, Dr. Grace Kakari, keep shining. So yes, a lot of love for you from the viewers, people listening. And I'd like to maybe get your final comment on this before we talk about how people can reach out to you and so forth. So I'm watching PWI today, right? So I'm kind of putting myself in the shoes of someone watching. And then I'm thinking, okay, so now I understand what mindset is. I understand potential. I need to be active, and so forth. Is there any recommended books or materials or websites that maybe you can just remember on top of your head, maybe 2 or 3 of them that can be a source of resource for people watching, that they can maybe go there to start at least around the topic that we've just talked about?
Yes, that's a great question. So, in terms of how to prepare, how to get your mind there, I would throw you back to your journey, your destination, where you want to go. And that is what should guide the kinds of materials you listen to or the people you even follow. So, when I think it was 2018, I was about to finish my PhD. I was in a confused state. I really didn't know what to do. I was like, what do I want to do with my life? I don't want to teach. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then my lady pastor in Ghana, I was complaining to her on the phone, and she was very gracious to hear all my complaints. And she said, Grace, do you know anything about personal development? I was
Okay.
like, no. Like, you have to be reading books and working on your mindset. I'm like, hey, you are a pastor. You shouldn't be telling me. I had no idea. It will be surprising to you that I've gone through the educational system. I was doing some things right. I mean, because I was in the PhD program. But then I
Yes.
didn't know that there was a name for it, like there was an industry for it. So she recommended 2 people I start with because people are saying different kinds of things and people believe in all kinds of things out there. So be careful. So she recommended Bob Proctor and then
Okay.
Cho Yongi, but we used to call him Yongi Cho. So she recommended
Oh,
one of his books, and then Bob Proctor, his YouTube channel. She said, you start from there, watch his videos. Just be mindful that sometimes they'll be using the universe and this and this and this. But she knew I was stronger in my faith, so I'll be fine. Because sometimes,
yes.
they talk about things that may not be in line with your culture and your faith. So I'm not going to be mentioning names out there because there are plenty of people. But as I started following Bob, I started seeing other people. So I was like, oh, I like this person. Oh, I like that person. And then because I knew the direction I wanted to go now, so I consumed specific materials. And I did love Dr. Miles Monroe because then he will
Yes,
add
Mars
a
Morrow.
biblical perspective to it. And I'm a Christian, so that would be my direction to go. So we have like a pool of several people who call themselves several names. What
Mm.
is your destination? If you are heading towards the business line, go for people in that field. Follow those kinds of people. Listen to their messages. Learn their way. There are people who specialize in real estate. There are people who specialize in life coaching. There are people who are in the health and wellness. That is where I am. I do holistic health and wellness. So I'm looking at all areas of your life. So that is what I'll say. If you don't know yet, then that will be your first step, identifying your final goal. And this is something that really helped me. So I'll share with you. Maybe it will help you. I always think of it
Yes,
as
please.
that if a doctor told me that I'm going to die in the next 5 years, what would I want to do with my 5 years? That is the life I want to live now. So I don't want to wait to hear a doctor say that, Grace, you are going to die. Then I will make a bucket list and try to be happy before I die. I'm living that life now. So maybe that can help you plan. Don't wait till 20 years. Maybe you'll not be here. Maybe you'll be here. But can you start planning that ultimate life now? The places you want to go in life, can you start planning those now? And look at ways to get you there. So that could be good for you. Maybe not, but that is what helped me. I don't want to die first. And then I'll say, what if I've done this? What if I've done that? Whatever I want to do then, I'm doing them now.
I like that. I mean, I think from Dr. Miles Monroe made a statement some years ago when I was watching some of his videos, and he was talking about the fact that the richest place in the whole of the earth is the cemetery,
Yes.
where people carried their dreams, their aspirations that never were realized. People whose kind of aspirations were truncated, either because of a disease or unexpected an accident, something. So I can really relate to the fact that, and he always made this statement that strive to die empty, like leave everything that you have in you, bring everything out so that you can die empty. He used to say that a lot, and I can truly relate with that. And there's one more comment from LinkedIn now, from Cloud. Cloud says that I love this webinar discussions. Okay, he tried to put his social media there. That's an interesting plug. He's taking the opportunity to also market himself. But thanks, Cloud, for joining as well. Dr. G, I want to finally ask that, how do people, for example, reach out to you? How do people follow your works and so forth? I would maybe share on the screen, and maybe you can walk us through your various social media handle and what you do on these social media platforms, and what people can expect if they follow you.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I've only gone public within the last year. Okay, and then I stick with Thrive with Doc G. So as you can see on the screen, so Dr. G, I have a whole story about where the G came from. In the future, I may record it. It's a name my brother gave me.
Oh, really? Yeah. I thought it was just Grace that you said. G, Grace.
Yeah. He didn't want me to go to the secondary school back in Ghana High School, and they'll call me Ogre. So when I was going, he wrote on all my things, OG. So back in school, I went first year and I went with my own name. So everybody called me OG.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't want them to call me Ogre and make me an
old lady.
Okay. Anyway, so I stick with Thrive with Doc G. If you don't find that, just my name, Grace Kakari, will bring out my stuff. If anybody's using that name, just look for the person with the newest account. And I do have my profile pictures there, so that should help you. And I talk about personal development, I talk about mindset, and I talk about holistic wellness, so social wellness, financial wellness, occupational wellness, mental wellness. I want us to do well in every area of our lives. Okay, we are not going to get money, and then at the end of the day, we are sick and spending all the money on our health, and we don't even get to enjoy it. And we don't want to be rich again, and then we don't have friends to even enjoy with. So trying to be balanced in all areas of our life. So I bring tips, I bring resources, and share with anybody interested.
Awesome. And thank you very much, Dr. G, for your time. So, I mean, all exciting and good things definitely come to an end. So today has been great. If you're watching us, this is PWI, People Who Inspire series, and on the screen now are how the various platforms, or how you can reach out to Dr. G on all the social media platforms. She's very active. Like she said, she's recently picked up the social media tools to drive her presence on social media. She has a YouTube channel, so you can always subscribe also to her YouTube, and she's on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so please do well to reach out to her using any of the contact information on your screen right now. So yes, we would have to draw the curtains now. So this is the information that you will need to reach out to her. And would you have any final words for people who are watching now, is there any final words you would want to leave us with?
Just thrive. Move beyond survival and thrive. You have nothing to lose. You may fail, but at least you tried. Get out there and thrive.
Awesome. Thrive with Dr. G. I mean, it's been exciting talking with you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for, I truly appreciate the fact that you have a busy schedule. I know for sure, but you made time for myself and also for my viewers. Maybe, yes, in the future, we could also do a session on your platform as well, where I can also come and, talk about something else. I'm open to that. And I want to thank all my viewers who dialed in from LinkedIn, Facebook, and also YouTube. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, and keep thriving. As Dr. G said, keep thriving. I'll come your way again next week with another episode of People Who Inspire. Have a nice weekend, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.